Hello and welcome to another episode of A Hot Cup of Tea. I'm your host, Nicole Marie. Today I'm having a chat with Shania Gray. She's a Barbadian born, no American citizen, who's living and working in Chicago with her family. She's going to tell us about her community work, her projects on Facebook with the Moms of Beverly, her charity, and so much more. We'll be right back. Welcome home, Shania.
Thank you, Nicole. It's great to be home, especially this time of year.
I know, right? Did you enjoy the Christmas holidays?
I did. It's always wonderful. There's no place like Barbados for Christmas. No
It's
place.
true. It's true. Now, tell me, what are the 2 or 3 foods that you have to enjoy when you come back home?
Well, the 2 or 3 foods, and I know you probably smirk because you know my first food is probably pudding and sauce every Saturday.
Okay.
You know.
What's your favorite spot to get that from?
Recently I've been going to Golden Sands
Okay.
to get pudding and sauce on Saturdays from there. It's
Okay.
pretty good.
Good. Okay. And
What-
then?
What else? I love turnovers, so my uncle always gets me some turnovers. I have some fresh baked turnovers.
There's a great bakery down in Westbury Road. Is it the Orleans?
Yeah.
What's the name of that place? I hear people raving about that.
I don't know the actual name. I
Well,
know
we
the
have to
baker's
go
name
there.
is like Tanty or something, but I don't know the actual name.
But it's the legendary spot, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, and then your third thing?
It's so hard to choose. I've been eating a lot of breadfruit.
You know.
There's a place in Black Rock called Yellow Meat
Uh-huh.
and Strong Foods.
Strong
so we've been
Foods.
getting breadfruit and buljiao.
From there?
Yes.
Great. You know, whenever I travel, like for a long period of time, the only thing I miss is breadfruit. And I don't know why. Like, I don't miss anything else. Maybe Eclipse.
Biscuit.
Not soda bakes. But, like, that's the one thing. Seriously. All right. So, today, straight off, I heard you don't like hot beverages.
No, I am not. Even in the States, when it's snowing and cold outside, I'm drinking an iced tea in the morning. I'm not
Really?
a big hot beverages fan. I don't know if it was because my mom forced me to drink them. When I was a child, you have to break the air stomach.
Hot tea
So
all
as soon-
morning.
So as soon as I could stop drinking them, I did. So occasionally I'll drink a hot chocolate, but I'm not a
But
big
that's
hot
good.
beverage fan.
Well, good for us. Naturindas has a line of iced teas. So today we're going to be having our sorrel iced tea. It's a wonderful blend of local herbs and sorrel natural juice. So
Wonderful.
we're going to bust this open and we'll be pairing that today with some great cake from Nichols and also a little bit of pudding cake. This is a agriculture-based show. I want to ask you, are you ever mortified at the prices you see in the supermarket?
In Barbados?
Yes.
I am actually, and by the way, I must say this tea is wonderful. I
Thank you
absolutely
very
in
much.
love with this tea.
Oh, thank you.
I wish it could be in the States. It's wonderful.
Well, I'll fight to get it there.
You would become a millionaire if you do.
These new SQF standards have me really scared.
Wow.
So we'll see how we're gonna get it. But if the standard is SQF, we're gonna shoot for that at Naturindas.
Wonderful.
So tell me about
The
the
prices
prices
in
in
the
the supermarkets. Now we're not gonna call any specific supermarket names, but are you shocked at the difference between what you pay in the US for something and what you see here?
Yes. So I often do anticipate that things here will be 4 times the price.
Right.
So some things actually aren't that bad. So your basket of goods, right?
Right.
Your macaroni, your rice, even your tuna isn't that bad. But for example, like ham,
Mm-hmm.
I paid 10 US for a ham that was about 8 pounds. And I came here and I was in one store and I saw a ham for 80 Barbados, between 80 and realizing the average price of a ham is between 80 to 100 Barbados.
Right.
And I always wonder how are Bajans managing, right? And realizing that a large percentage of salaries probably go to food.
Right. So So like we can say ham is an indulgence.
Yes.
But what about like regular items? Do you think that maybe our grocery store owners can ease us a little bit?
I do. I think certain regular basics can be really, really expensive. And from my
Right.
understanding, having some insight into some of the supermarket industry here, I know that a lot of times the port fees and
Yes.
the taxes are really what drives up a lot of the prices.
Right.
And so I wish there are no options here for people who I realize there are a lot of people here who are struggling with
Yeah.
food because the things are just your basics: soap, toothpaste,
Yeah.
rice, even a whole chicken.
Yeah.
Um,
And you have to have
chicken-
a really small one if you
Yeah.
want to go under like $15 for a whole chicken.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's $22.
I realized I was like, man,
So for me, I always wonder how I can help people to feel excited about planting something or growing something or making something out of what's around us, because I think it will help. I think it would help significantly. And
I
for
agree.
those of you in the diaspora who love the taste of the Caribbean, I'm sure we could do something more to help you out. So,
I agree.
you're a traveler. You've been to several places. You've been to East Africa. And now you're running a group in Chicago that's got the attention of Mark Zuckerberg. And you've met him. Tell us about that, please.
So, when I going up to the States for school and so on, the States is a very lonely place.
Right.
Okay. Coming from the Caribbean where you could go over to somebody's house and just show up or call and say, on my way over, I passing
What
or
you have in
whatever.
the pot?
In the States, you almost have to make appointments to
Right.
hang out with people, right? And so getting up there, and we bought our home in 2009, and it was a little bit lonely because it just was not. I'm an extrovert. I love to be around people,
Right.
you know, and it was just, I didn't have a lot of friends around, a lot of people around. And so one of my neighbors down the street, my oldest son now, Elias, when he was 3 or 4, and we would see in the summer, we saw each other outside because her little one as well
Right.
were out there. And so one day we were in the park and I was like, we should create a group on Facebook so we could do meetups. You know, we
Right.
could say, hey, let's go to the park and let's meet up with the kids and so on. So we
Right.
created this group called Moms of Beverly. Beverly being the name of our neighborhood, Beverly Hills,
Right.
Chicago, Illinois. And so right now we have about just over 4,500 moms in our group. And
That's
Okay.
fantastic, by the way.
People just join. They've heard of our group. We've heard great things. People say they're coming into the neighborhood and people tell them to just join the group to learn about
That's
what's good in
great.
the neighborhood. People look for recommendations. We've had meetups where we've done things like play dates with the kids, or we just do a moms only type thing. So it's been really wonderful, and what we've done is we've given back. So like if we do a meetup and we raise money, we give back a portion of that to like the schools in the area. And
Right.
so
So you also did a big deal in Barbados this year.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. Like, what fueled you to do it and to partner with local organizations?
So what ended up happening, so every year, and for the last 2 years, Moms of Beverly, what we've done is we've collected presents, gifts for kids on the west side of Chicago, which is a very impoverished community as well. And so we've collected gifts for families there, partnered with a organization called By the Hand, and we've done that. But part of my heart has always been, even though these kids in the States are in need and they're really suffering, there's so many places that can give them.
Right.
Whereas in Barbados, kids are in need and there are not many options. There are
Right.
not many places that could give them. So from the summer, I decided, I was like, okay, I'm going to do something for Barbados. So I put out a flyer, I created a flyer with my mom's group. And I said, hey, I contacted you, and we partnered with Volunteer Barbados and
Yes,
so
we
on.
did.
We partnered to say, hey, let's find some families who are really in need, and let's work to make Christmas possible for them. So we, I put out flyers for my mom's groups, listed the items we needed. I reached out to actually quite a few of my friends who I knew went to like Queens College with me or so on, and were now living in the States, and said, hey, would y'all like to be part of this? So quite a few of them were able to donate financially. I reached out, I shared people at my college and another organization I'm part of, some of my friends. I said, hey, would you like to donate?
You collected everything at your house?
I collected my house. My laundry room was a mess for a while.
Did you get to wash any laundry for the last
So we had barrels there, and we collected school supplies, books, toys, food stuff, clothes, and so on, toiletries, and then I timed them for shipping, so the end of November, and we were able to ship 6 barrels of stuff back here.
And it was great.
And it was wonderful.
I think we're going to try to put some pictures up of those barrels and what we did for distribution and so on. And how did the families here respond?
Families, there was a wonderful response. A lot of people couldn't believe. They're like, you're giving this to us? Like, people were in disbelief
because the things were new,
they were brand new. It weren't old stuff, I subverted that. If people wanted to try to give us old stuff, I was like, no, because I believe people, even though they're in need, there's a level of dignity,
and
I'm giving you gifts, and I want you to get the best, right?
Sure.
I want you to get the best. So families, like one little girl you showed me on the card, she was like, you made Christmas for us.
Wow.
Families could not believe it. Families who've been working and trying hard, but have a number of children. So I haven't done the final numbers, but I'm pretty sure we helped close to 100 children here make Christmas possible for them. Probably close to 30 families, and that was huge.
That's amazing. And I'm so excited about what you've been able to do, because you've always been a community person, a trained missionary. So your heart is always out for people. And to see you be able to smile about what you're able to accomplish here in Barbados really warms my heart. And if anybody wants to participate in volunteerism, they can contact Volunteer Barbados on Facebook, and they could go try peek over at her mom's, the Beverly page. So tell me, quickly, Mark Zuckerberg found you guys out, like...
Yes. So they were doing tours around the country. They were doing they wanted to meet groups. People who'd been using Facebook to build community. So my admin, we got this message from an employee at Facebook. And at first we thought it was a hoax. And Nick reached out to us, and he's like, no, for real, we're here. We're coming. We want to meet up with you all. So they invited a few groups out. They bought us dinner and everything, and they had this Facebook. So we were like, oh wow, this is so cool. We never expected that. And then a couple months later, we hear back, like, there's Friends Day happening. We really love the moms of Beverly. We want to fly you all out to Silicon Valley and bring a friend with you, and we will. And we met Mark Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg. They showed us around. They put us up at a hotel. So it was really, and then they also did a video. I could show, came out and filmed a video of us, because one of our admins, she learned about her adopted son. She learned about him through our group.
Wow.
So they told it through the eyes of her story that she found out about adopting her son through our group. So they came out and they filmed us, and then our other admin, Lauren, she got flown to New York to be part of a panel discussion. So we've kind of done a lot of, it's been pretty cool.
It sounds really exciting. Surreal. Like, you're really leading, you're a community leader. And that's great that you can leave Barbados and do something like that. And so I want to segue into finding out from you, how have you found leading in the community different to leading in the church? Your husband pastors a lovely little church. I've had the pleasure of going.
And speaking there
and
too.
Speaking and singing.
Yes.
But how is it organizing in the community just as a mother as compared to leadership in the church? How do you find it balanced? Do you feel pressure to have your boys behave themselves all the time? Like
at church?
Yeah, like anywhere.
There was just a meme on Facebook that I reposted. I'm like, I really don't want to take my kids anywhere where you expect them to sit down and be quiet.
Right.
So, in the community, it's been wonderful, but my heart is always with the church and knowing that Jesus, this is kind of what he has called us to do as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm still getting used to being a pastor's wife and so on, in the church and in the congregation, you know. But our church in Chicago does do a lot as well. We have a food pantry that's been going for a number of years, where every other Saturday people come and get food from the community who are in need. And, you know, we do...
How could local churches kind of model after what you guys are doing there? Like, food pantries seem to be a big deal in Barbados because people think food is really expensive. But how were you able to partner with different grocery stores or whatever in your neighborhood? How does it work?
Well, and it doesn't, the thing is the system is set up because we have the Greater Chicago Food Depository, which is almost like a national organization that sources, this is a larger organization that tends to source from all the manufacturers and so on.
Right.
And then you become part of the Greater Chicago Food Depository, and they will deliver the food for you. You order, we rate, like we do sponsor walks and so on. You pay very nominal, minimal costs, and they deliver the food for you. So you don't have to do all the legwork.
So this is a greater network.
Yeah. So it's set up for you, you know, which is the thing. Like, I don't know how we could get something like that done
here. It would take an effort.
Yeah, but the government would probably have to be involved because you would need an umbrella organization who can really partner with manufacturers, partner with different things, and they will give them at discounted cost. Like, they will give them cans with no labels on them, or whatever. You know, you get stuff that maybe a couple months from expiring on the shelves, you know, instead of tossing them or whatever.
Right.
You get them, and then you have pantries that you've certified and verified, and they have to be accountable all over the island, and people come and people get
I think food security is so important. So we've got a lot of ground to cover, and I'm hoping that maybe you can come back at some point and do a really good workshop for us here, so we can get that discussion going and maybe help us out with a lot of things like the food pantry and all the rest of it.
But we have to, I'm going to say one last thing. Within the church especially, people always turn to us for help.
Right.
And so we have to be mindful of how we respond to people who are sick and who are in need of help.
Right.
If we, as my husband preached about yesterday, about not really, when you see people, don't just judge them by how they look. You know, he talked about when he was a student and he dressed up as a homeless man outside of a church in Chicago, and he asked people to tell him about Jesus, and people walk past him to go straight into the church. You know, are we walking past people? Are we looking over people? Are we dismissing people?
Right.
Because of how they look. And what should we be doing as the body of Christ to help people in their healing? Don't just throw the gospel in their face, but part of it is walking alongside of them for holistic healing and for helping them, right? And then they'll come to Jesus. It's just not sharing, okay, we'll get saved and everything's going to be okay, because we know that's not what it is. But what is our approach really as a church here in Barbados? How are we helping? How are we being God's hands and feet?
Well, I'm happy that you were able to come home and to be hands for some over 30 families this year. It's really been great working with you and seeing how you've been able to impact on communities, not just here, but wherever you are. Pretty much you kind of set roots and make things happen, and that's really a great gift. Thank you so very much, everybody, for being a part of this episode of A Hot Cup of Tea. I've been chatting with Shania Gray. She's a faculty member and counselor at Moraine Valley Community College in Illinois.
Yes.
And a Bajan born who loves pudding and sauce and pickled breadfruit. I'll see you next time. Remember to follow Naturindas on Facebook at Naturindas or on Instagram at Naturindas Foods. Today's show is brought to you by tmac.pro. Check him out on Instagram, and you're going to see videos that will blow your mind. See you next time.